Good evening, and welcome to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm Nicodemus, and I will be your host as we take a look at the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. And remember, none of this is financial advice. And it's 10 p.m. on a Thursday, June 1st, 2023. And welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we have no sponsors, no hidden agenda, and no BS. We didn't quite reach 100 subs on the YouTube side this month, but we got to 97. So hopefully next month I can start giving those hardware wallets away. But make no mistake, I am not at all upset, not even a little bit disappointed. The show grew a lot, and it's just hard for me to be upset over that. So I want to thank all of you, new listeners and old. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for subscribing. Okay, enough of that. On with the news. First up, we have a fascinating development in the world of artificial intelligence. Two artificial intelligence enthusiasts, Peter Corbin and Hugo Ferrer, have developed an AI chatbot called Talk2Satoshi, appearing to bring back the ability to converse with Satoshi Nakamoto. Released on May 31st, the chatbot utilizes OpenAI's ChatGPT model trained on a limited dataset. This dataset includes Nakamoto's public emails, forum posts, and other sources such as books and films related to Bitcoin and economics. During testing, the chatbot provided responses that expressed uncertainty about the future of fiat currencies. Appropriately enough, it remained optimistic about Bitcoin. However, its answers could vary depending on the specific prompt. For example, when asked about the future of Bitcoin, it generated both positive and uncertain responses. The chatbot lacks knowledge of recent Bitcoin developments like the Ordinals protocol and the BRC20 tokens. So it's no surprise that it will generate contradictory responses on those topics, depending on the question asked. Additionally, the chatbot appears critical of Bitcoin Cash and other Bitcoin forks, noting the challenges that they face in gaining momentum. When asked about Ordinals, the chatbot was kind of wishy-washy. One response said that Bitcoin is not intended for storing or transmitting images or data. Another acknowledged Ordinals as a fascinating application of cryptography. One of the creators, Corbin, aims to demonstrate the potential use of AI tools in education through this chatbot. The model proves adept at answering questions about Bitcoin's workings, mining, and network elements like Satoshi's. Similar to Nakamoto, the bot maintains secrecy about its true identity. It often responds by emphasizing the importance of Bitcoin's decentralization of power and its potential to revolutionize financial systems. Speaking of Bitcoin, let's move on to a story that directly impacts its future and the future of all cryptocurrencies. A study commissioned by European Parliament lawmakers suggests that crypto assets should be considered securities by default. The report recommends granting legal status to DeFi organizations. The European Union is finalizing its Markets in Crypto Assets regulation, so it's exploring the need for additional regulations covering areas such as DeFi, staking, and non-fungible tokens. According to the report, all crypto assets should be treated as transferable securities. That would make them subject to the EU's rigorous governance and authorization rules, just the same as traditional stocks and bonds. This default rule places the responsibility of gathering technical facts and determining the scope of regulation on the industry rather than the regulators. The report was drafted by a group of academics from universities in Luxembourg, Sydney, and Hong Kong. It was created in response to a request from the European Parliament's Economic and Monetary Affairs Committee. This report raises concerns about the enforcement of MiCA's rules in the cross-border context of the crypto industry, where thousands of protocols seek minimal regulation. The findings of the report do not represent an official position of the European Parliament. Even so, it questions the potential short-term effectiveness of MiCA without changes. This lack of clarity regarding the application of traditional financial securities regulations to traditional assets has been a challenge for the crypto industry. In the United States, the SEC stance on whether major cryptocurrencies like Ether constitute securities remains unclear. Legal actions against companies such as Ripple have raised concerns about regulation through enforcement. Now, with MiCA officially enacted, EU agencies responsible for banking and securities markets must define detailed rules to implement it. Additionally, the European Systemic Risk Board has called for further legislation to address gaps left by MiCA. In the UK, experts are also studying the legal status of DAOs. By the way, DAOs were described in this report as a Wild West populated by fraudsters and thieves. As we discuss the potential for increased regulation in the EU, let's turn our attention to Asia, where a new stablecoin is making waves. First Digital is a Hong Kong-based qualified custodian and trust company. They're launching a new stablecoin called First Digital USD, or FDUSD. This stablecoin will be pegged to the US dollar and it will be regulated in Asia. According to First Digital, each coin will be backed by $1 US or an asset of equivalent fair value. Reserves will be held in segregated accounts at Asian institutions. The stablecoin is designed to be programmable. This allows for the execution of financial contracts, escrow services, and insurance without the need for intermediaries. First Digital Labs is the company's research and development arm. They're going to collaborate with local and overseas regulatory authorities to ensure compliance with current and future laws and regulations. The company has expressed its willingness to participate in shaping regulatory regimes that it may fall under in the future. Stablecoins like this are important because they provide increased stability. They serve as a means of remittance, and they offer a hedge against central bank policies that impact domestic currencies. The introduction of this stablecoin is particularly significant, especially given the upcoming implementation of new guidelines for virtual asset trading platform operators in Hong Kong. Those were set to take effect today. These guidelines outline rules related to asset custody, client asset segregation, conflict of interest avoidance, and cybersecurity standards as stated by the Securities and Futures Commission of Hong Kong. Amid regulatory uncertainties in the United States, some industry participants are cautioning U.S. lawmakers about the potential loss of the country's leadership position in the crypto sector. They fear this industry may move to more favorable jurisdictions, like Hong Kong. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong recently commented that Hong Kong's positioning as a new crypto hub should come as no surprise. Now, while Hong Kong is embracing the potential of cryptocurrencies, other regions are expressing concerns about the risks associated with crypto privacy. The European Banking Authority released draft guidance advising crypto companies to be cautious of customers using privacy coins or self-hosted wallets. They said that these may be indicators of potential money laundering. The EBA's plans are open for comment until August 31st. Their intent is to address concerns surrounding crypto tools that enhance online privacy but can also be exploited for criminal purposes. According to the EBA, providers of crypto asset services, including exchanges and wallets, face increased money laundering risks due to the innovative technology enabling instant global transfers. To effectively identify and mitigate these risks, the EBA is proposing amendments to its money laundering and terrorist financing guidelines. These amendments will establish common regulatory expectations for crypto asset service providers and assist them in vetting potential and existing customers. The guidance issued by the EBA highlights several indicators of higher risk. It states that the use of mixers, tumblers, zero-knowledge proofs, and privacy coins can signal potential money laundering activity. Additionally, customers with multiple accounts who make transactions to self-hosted wallets that are not operated by regulated crypto asset service providers pose additional risks, as do those providers located in jurisdictions with supposedly weak regulations. The EBA further emphasizes that banks seeking to engage with crypto clients must verify their regulatory licenses and ownership details. In recent years, the EU has taken steps to address money laundering risks associated with secretive crypto transactions. Proposed money laundering rules could restrict trades involving self-hosted wallets where the owner's identity cannot be substantiated. Those rules would even ban anonymous coins like Zcash, Monero, and Dash. Now, Binance already had plans to delist all privacy tokens in countries like France and Italy. Starting from June 26th, privacy tokens such as Monero or Zcash will no longer be available for trading on the Binance platform for customers in France, Italy, Poland, and Spain. According to a Binance spokesperson, this decision affects a total of 12 coins, some of which are Dash, Zcash, and Monero. Binance said that while they aim to support as many quality projects as possible, they are required to comply with local laws and regulations regarding the trading of privacy coins. Affected users have been notified that they can no longer purchase or trade privacy tokens on the Binance platform after June 26th. Unlike common cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, privacy-focused tokens such as Monero or Zcash are designed to obscure blockchain transactions, thus enhancing user privacy. Governments worldwide have been actively opposing the adoption of privacy-focused cryptocurrencies and other crypto privacy tools, usually citing anti-money laundering and counterterrorism financing concerns. In September of 2022, major cryptocurrency exchange Huobi discontinued support for 7 privacy coins, including Monero, due to those regulatory pressures. And in the United States, the government has gone after Tornado Cash, going after another avenue of privacy. These developments come in the context of global jurisdictions implementing significant AML regulations through the Financial Action Task Force, known as the Travel Rule. One of the main requirements of the Travel Rule is the obligation to provide certain customer data about crypto transactions to regulators. As we consider the implications of these privacy concerns, let's look at how cryptocurrencies are being implicated in more serious criminal activities. Senator Elizabeth Warren raised concerns about a possible connection between cryptocurrency payments and Chinese companies regarding fentanyl. During a Senate Banking Committee hearing on China, Warren referenced a report from blockchain analytics firm Elliptic. This report suggests that cryptocurrencies were being used for illegal drug transactions by Chinese firms. According to this report, approximately 90% of the 90 China-based fentanyl precursor suppliers were open to accepting cryptocurrency payments, including Bitcoin. Warren highlighted the fact that cryptocurrency transactions associated with Chinese fentanyl brokers had increased by 450% in the past year. Elizabeth Rosenberg is the Assistant Secretary for Terrorist Financing and Financial Crimes at the U.S. Treasury Department, and she supported Warren's argument, stating that the pseudonymous nature of crypto transactions likely facilitated payments for drug brokers. She agreed that cryptocurrency was a major method of payment for Chinese companies. Warren expressed her intent to reintroduce the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act, which we'll get to in a bit. It claims to be a bill aimed at addressing regulatory gaps related to crypto payments in illegal drug trades. She initially introduced the bill in 2022 and hinted at its reintroduction during previous congressional hearings on cryptocurrency. Data from the National Institutes of Health revealed that there were over 70,000 deaths involving synthetic opioids, including fentanyl, in the U.S. in 2021. The Silk Road was a notorious platform that facilitated illegal drug transactions using cryptocurrencies. It was shut down in 2013, and its founder Ross Ulbricht was given a life sentence. Unfairly, I would say. Warren emphasized the need for action to combat the fentanyl trade, stating that, quote, Congress has talked about fentanyl long enough and proposed taking steps to fight back. During the Senate hearing, Warren highlighted the widespread use of cryptocurrency in the Chinese fentanyl trade, citing that data from Elliptic. That data that shows that over 90 Chinese businesses involved in shipping fentanyl precursors were accepting cryptocurrencies as payment. Now, just keep in mind what that actually says, that these criminal organizations are willing to be paid in Bitcoin for drugs. That's all it says. That's all it proves. Now, Warren emphasized that cryptocurrency was contributing to funding the fentanyl trade and called for decisive action to address the issue, stating that it's time to shut it down. All right, let's get one thing straight here. Elizabeth Warren's crusade against cryptocurrencies is not only misguided, it's downright dangerous to the future of innovation and financial freedom. She's waving around the fentanyl trade issue like a flag, trying to pin the blame on cryptocurrencies. But let's be real. Cryptocurrencies are not the root cause of the fentanyl trade. People were selling drugs long before Bitcoin showed up, and they're going to be selling it long after. It's not the currency that's the problem, it's the crime. So how about focusing on the real issue at hand, Senator? And then there's this Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act she's proposing. It sounds fancy, right? But let's not kid ourselves. This bill is not going to stop money laundering. But what it will do, however, is potentially strangle the life out of the crypto industry. It's an overreach, plain and simple. We need regulation, sure. but not at the cost of innovation. We need regulation, not strangulation. We can't let the fear-mongering and misunderstanding dictate policy that could stifle one of the most exciting technological advancements of our time. But here's the kicker, the real cherry on top of this misguided sundae. The underlying motive of this bill is not to prevent money laundering. No, it's far more insidious than that. It's about control. It's about maintaining a stranglehold over the public's finances. Because cryptocurrencies represent financial freedom, a break from the traditional financial institutions that have held power for far too long. And that scares the hell out of them. And so they're willing to do anything that they can do to fight it. So Senator Warren, instead of launching misguided attacks on an industry you clearly don't understand, how about focusing on the real issues? How about addressing the root causes of these problems instead of blaming the tools? Because right now, all you're doing is standing in the way of progress. And Senator, I don't blame you for not getting it. The dinosaurs didn't see it coming either. Now finally, let's turn our attention to Georgia, a country that is taking significant steps to monitor crypto firms and prevent money laundering. Georgia is known to be a cryptocurrency friendly in the post-Soviet region. They're taking steps to monitor crypto firms and to prevent money laundering while complying with sanctions. The National Bank of Georgia announced plans to implement mandatory supervision of virtual asset service providers starting from September 1st. The new regulatory measures are intended to enhance the country's efforts to combat money laundering. By monitoring VASPs, Georgia aims to improve compliance with Western sanctions against Russia and Belarus. The National Bank plays a significant role in supervising compliance with these sanctions. They've even created a dedicated department for monitoring sanctions. They've emphasized the importance of enforcing sanctions and highlighted the financial sector's serious approach to the matter. In addition to VASP supervision, the NBG is also planning to introduce significant restrictions on foreign bank account holders. Effective September 1st, Russian citizens will be prohibited from withdrawing more than 20% of their savings accounts immediately. And as central banks do, the central bank justifies these measures. They say they're necessary to maintain Georgia's economic stability amidst the growing influx of foreign currency deposits from Russians. And so the regulator believes that it is prudent to keep this capital inflow in liquid funds, considering its potentially temporary nature. These developments coincide with the Georgian government's preparations to pass cryptocurrency-related legislation during the autumn session. The proposed local draft bill aims to align the country's laws with major directives of the European Union and to grant legal status to entities involved in digital asset trading. The forthcoming crypto regulations are also intended to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing through cryptocurrency transactions. And, of course, to promote Georgia as a prominent global hub for cryptocurrencies. And that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will indeed stop talking. If you enjoyed tonight's show, then please like, follow, subscribe, leave a rating or maybe a review, and we'll see you tomorrow night.